Do you want to learn how to do this effect? Well, I'm gonna show you exactly how to do this. First, you wanna record yourself showing off the robot arm. Then shoot down into the ground and do a flying animation. Then just land and do a takeoff and another flying animation. And finish up with you landing. Rotoscope yourself out and animate the position and scale, switching between the different clips, allowing you to jump around. Now let's remove the sock by rotoscoping it out. Click layer and auto trace and press OK. Your rotoscope will now be transformed into a mask. Now we don't need the rotoscope anymore, so delete that and set all the mask to subtract. Now it should look like this. In the content aware fill window, press fill layer. Now your arm will be replaced by something a little bit similar to what's in the background, which is good enough for us because there's going to be a robot arm in there. Export the footage and hop into Blender, add an image as a plane and find your video, set up your camera and make a cup of coffee because now it's time to get really patient. And I know you are because you are a video editor. Import the robot arm that I linked in the description and start lining up the robot arm with your arm for as many frames as possible to get the best result. Import the robot arm into After Effects and do the necessary masking to create the illusion that the robot arm is under your sleeve. And now that we finished the robot arm grind, it's time to have some fun. And by that, I mean putting on some special effects. Let's start off by doing this laser shot. So the first thing you have to do, make a black solid layer and apply the saber effect. For this scene, I used the meteor preset and made the color blue. Go into compositing settings and set the output to transparent. Go into customize core and set it to layer masks. Put a mask on the hand and enable mask path. And now it's just time to put the mask wherever you want the light beam to go. And when you're finished with that, it's time to make a new adjustment layer and put on light rays on the layer. Enable animation on the intensity and the center. Put the radius to 19 and warp softness to 0. And what you're going to do with this light burst layer is to track wherever the saber beam is going and turning up the intensity of the light beam just as it is being fired off, creating this nice effect. Repeat the process for every time you're going to shoot with the robot arm. Now it's time to destroy the building. So let's hop into Photoshop and select the area that you want to be destroyed. Use the generative AI and write rubble crater. The AI will now create a nice building destruction for you. Now duplicate your background and start masking out the part where you want your building to be destroyed. Add the shadow effect to the layer and set the view to render. Change the pattern to glass, turn up the repetitions a bunch, extrusion depth to 0.10 and set the origin right in the middle. Turn up the randomness and set the gravity to 0.01. Now it's time to animate the radius, so set the radius to a lower value in the start and turn it up a bunch when we go for it in the video, creating this nice explosion. Now add a shockwave beneath you that I linked in the description as well as this explosion. And let's put some light rays on the explosion as well so everything looks really cool. And now we have a really nice first laser shot. But we need one last thing, and it is a last adjustment layer where you're going to put light burst on the layer. And for you guys that have watched my other videos, you know exactly what I'm about to do. Animate the center, the intensity and the railing. And what you're going to do is you're going to turn up the value just as you're firing off this big laser, creating some really cool bursts of light, just making everything look really cool and amazing. And also when I jump the second time, I add in a shockwave and a ground collapse. And I'll be linking the collapse and the shockwave in the description as well. And as for the absolute last thing, pre-compose everything, add a new adjustment layer, let's call it wiggle, apply the effect slide control on the layer, press P, alt click the position layer and type wiggle and type 10, comma, and then slide this twirly boy onto the slide control effect. And remember to drag the other twirly boy from your original clip onto the layer. And now you can animate the slide controller so your clip shakes up whenever something big gets fired off. Maybe not that much, but you get the idea. And that was the end of the video, guys. Hopefully you survived all of the masking and the keep framing. It can be absolutely horrible sometimes, but the end results are always worth it. And until next time, see you guys. Goodbye.